Welcome to Just Ask Freeman TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Freeman Owen Jr. He's the CEO of Financial Sources Incorporated. Freeman.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. I think we're going to have a good time here. What are we going to talk about today? I think you've got it down packed.
I do.
Okay.
I do, Freeman, because obviously, well, first of all, I'm so excited to be in the studio with you. I think that shows. I'm like, yay.
Yes, yes, indeed.
But for today's show, I'd love to talk to you about a very important topic, just in case the viewers at home right now are watching with a cup of coffee and they're wondering, you know what? I think I might be ready to retire. So Freeman, how does someone know that they are ready to retire?
Okay, there's a lot of factors involved. Retirement, that word retirement, Cynthia, means a lot, or different things to different people. And you got to have a blueprint, a path and some guidance so that you can have an assessment on, well, the question is, so you're thinking about retirement. Well, we're going to cover some topics that to augment that. When you're ready to retire, one of the things we do at the office there is have an assessment. Folks are calling in from all over the country now. The show is very, very popular, thanks to, I tell you. And a lot of folks are thinking about retirement. Freeman, I want to retire, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one of the things we do is we come up with an assessment. How much money will be needed in order to retire with dignity? Some of the questions asked, well, I don't know what to do with my 401k. I don't know whether or not I'll have health insurance once I separate from service. Well, like I always say, just ask Freeman. Here's what we'll do, the assessment. Well, sit down and discuss, and with software, go through a program to determine how much money is needed for your retirement. Now, what do you have to consider? Number one, inflation.
Of course.
Okay.
That's a big one right now.
That is large, that the cost of goods and services today is going to increase significantly down the road.
Absolutely.
Another thing we'll look at, how long would your money last? When we're talking about money lasting, what percentage from your assets each year would be distributed from those assets? Will they last a long time? Will you pull too much money out at one time? Well, just ask Freeman.
Just ask Freeman.
Call us at 833-414-7233 and get your assessment. A breakdown by the amount of earnings, or I should say the amount of money that you'll need for retirement.
Okay.
We'll also consider health insurance.
Okay.
Will your former employer, once you leave, is your health insurance portable? Will it come with you? And what do you think about that idea?
Great question, Freeman.
Okay.
That's a great question.
That is so significant. And the concern about outliving your resources, outliving your assets, that is so important to understand that the distribution mode that you accept, you got to count inflation. We have to input health insurance. What about a loss of spouse?
Oh, that's another big one, Freeman. Let's talk about that specifically for a moment, because obviously if someone in the viewing audience, if they're sitting together right now and one person passes on, it changes the tax bracket for that person who's left behind that's filing. Would that be correct?
That is true. And then you may not have enough money.
Yeah.
Did you set up insurance programs so that there would be a death benefit in order to carry on the quality of life that you've experienced with the spouse? Did you look into the survivor benefit of Social Security? Well, if you want to know, just ask Freeman. What we'll do is give you a tax-efficient report on when to file for your Social Security benefits. Did you, one of the questions asked by some of the viewers are, well, can I get a survivor benefit of Social Security, the Social Security benefit from my deceased spouse? Yes. Well, just ask Freeman. Get a Social Security report so you know not only when to file, but understand the benefits that you receive from that deceased spouse. What if it's lower than your own Social Security?
That's true. That's true. That's another great point. All of these things, Freeman, obviously have to be carefully considered before making that decision to retire.
Exactly.
Because obviously, like you mentioned, the number one fear that most people have would be to outlive their resources, especially in the retirement years, because the last thing that someone wants is to go back to work because they have to versus if they want to.
That's the thing. Some folks have made errors in pulling, or this has happened over the last couple of years. It didn't happen to any of my clients, but I did receive phone calls where the individual had received the distribution from their TSP or their 401k, specifically the 401k in this case. They wanted to purchase a car, and they removed $100,000 out of their 401k. Now, you know, what I'm doing, I wanted to get this sidebar because a lot of folks make mistakes on distribution and they're not concerned about outliving their resources.
Okay.
So if you take $100,000 out of your 401k and you're under the age of 59 and a half, Cynthia, 20% withholding, that's federal, a 10% penalty for being under 59 and a half. So that's not good planning when you receive your check minus $30,000 in taxes and buy a depreciating object. And getting back to the loss of spouse. You have to limit your withdrawals. That's the point. I'm going somewhere with this. A good idea is to limit the amount you withdraw from your retirement nest egg. Okay. And that's why with the text that I have that I usually give the clients is the 10 IRA mistakes and how to avoid the tax traps that are associated with those.
Sure.
Just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233 and get a complimentary, detailed, tax-efficient report. How much money will I need? What if I outlive my resources and assets? We have the answer. You can get your customized report. When do I take my Social Security benefits? Do I have survivor benefits if there's a loss of spouse? Those answers are, those questions are answered.
I love that, Freeman. Well, this is the perfect time for us to open up the phone lines. Would you agree?
I agree.
All right. To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen, and that number is 833-414-7233. If you're thinking about retirement and you're not sure if you're ready, why not just ask Freeman? Pick up the phone and call today. He has the answers for you. All you have to do is call in to 833-414-7233. We have to take a very short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. I have more questions for Freeman about how to retire comfortably as soon as we return.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to Just Ask Freeman TV. I'm joined by Freeman Owen Jr. He is CEO of Financial Services Incorporated. Freeman, a wonderful show that we're having today,
Yes,
talking
indeedy.
about the importance of knowing when it's a good time to retire,
Right.
just emotionally, but also financially, of course. Wanted to ask you a question. When someone comes in to sit with you, how do you help design a spending plan? And if I came into the office, do I have to tell you about my Amazon spending habit?
Yes,
do you need to know that?
Yeah, you got throw that card out there. It's you know, I simplify things for the new client coming in. They relax and they bring about their concerns. And one of them is that I address is how much debt can we eliminate? You know, it's no fun when you have a tremendous amount of debt and you're trying to retire. Let's get rid of credit card debt.
Good one.
Let's avoid 7-year, 5 and 7-year car payments. We're retirement. We're trying to eliminate debt. You have to purchase retirement. Believe me, folks, when you come in, just ask Freeman. We'll sit down and you'll have a detailed, efficient tax report. Now, we'll go through, eliminate debt before you retire, eliminate all major debt.
Okay.
We have to purchase guaranteed income. We have to have predictable, guaranteed income. And you've noticed that I've talked about Social Security benefits and how to avoid mistakes, even receiving Social Security benefits. But the thing is, Social Security only covers 36% of our retirement, Cynthia.
That's all? 36%?
Exactly. So we need to supplement Social Security.
Okay.
We're thinking about retiring. We're thinking about retiring 25, 30, at least 25 to 30 years out. If you're 65, typical man, he's going to live another 17 or 18 years. For the ladies, you're talking about 21, 22 more years above 65 and beyond 90, 95. And ladies, of course, live longer than men anyway. So we have to look at life expectancy. We have to take into account of inflation. How about healthcare costs?
Oh, that's a big one. Let's talk about that for a second, Owen, because that's important.
Very much so.
Yeah.
When you are separating from service, I asked a question as we do our assessment report, because you get a live report right there to determine income gap, the risk tolerance, how much risk can you tolerate,
Yes.
and health coverage. Will your health insurance be portable once you separate from service? You don't have to be afraid of, well, you're going to spend $290,000 in health care costs when you retire. Well, you know you're familiar with the premium.
Yeah.
All right. So when you want your report, just ask Freeman. We'll sit down and do a tax efficient report, Cynthia. How much money is needed? Risk tolerance. This is all written down, printed out. So
Okay.
you've got to have a master plan.
Absolutely.
That's what do you have to do about that?
You just have to ask Freeman.
Just ask Freeman.
I
You
mean,
better
that's
be-
the most important thing, because you have the answers for people that are considering this.
a detailed roadmap to a comfortable retirement.
Yeah.
And also the peace of mind knowing their assets are safe and generate guaranteed lifetime income. Cynthia, they can't possibly outlive. To supplement Social Security.
Yeah.
Bring in, if you got $250,000, $500,000, $1 million in your tax qualified plans, you need a detailed roadmap on distribution. Now, how did that money accumulate? Well, during the accumulation phase, we usually put and contribute to what? Our 401ks,
Sure.
TSPs. So now we're thinking about retirement tax qualified plans. We have to be careful on the distribution of these plans because there could be tax consequences if we're not careful and not in a favorable way.
Okay.
So,
Freeman, I should ask you, if someone forgets to take their qualified distribution, what happens? Is there a penalty that's
oh
involved?
man. Just ask Freeman.
Okay.
We have to take what we call the required minimum distribution. What that means is that there's as of January 1st of 2020, all right, prior to that date, you took what we call a mandatory withdrawal from your tax qualified plans, your 401ks, your TSPs, your 403Bs, all these employer-sponsored retirement accounts, as well as your own individual retirement account. Well, if you were 70 and a half prior to the date I just mentioned, then you were taking the mandatory withdrawals from these tax qualified plans, Cynthia.
Okay.
But what about after that date?
I don't know.
All right, just ask Freeman. Here we go. Starting at age 72, which is the new eligibility age for removing, I should say, getting a distribution from your tax qualified plans.
Okay.
Do you know what would happen if you failed to do that, to take your distribution at age 72? That has to be done in the year you turn full retirement, I should say, eligible for required minimum distributions.
Okay.
But you have until April of the following year after you turn age 72. But what would be the consequences?
I don't know. Freeman, what are they?
Just ask Freeman. You end up with 2 withdrawals,
Okay.
which would put you in a higher tax bracket. See, that's mandatory. And what is
Oh,
interesting,
boy.
too, is that at age 72, there's a certain percentage that you have to take out.
Okay.
73, higher percentage, attained age 73. Attained age 74, a higher percentage. But, Cynthia, we have a solution.
What's that?
Just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233. Here's what would happen. We will do detailed, written out assessment so that we have required minimum distribution planning. Now, we could be tax efficient and maybe convert some of these funds to what? A Roth IRA.
Okay.
Just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233 and get a detailed, tax-efficient report. In addition to that, you'll get your Social Security report.
Wow.
Now, how do you get your Social Security report, or I should say statement, which is needed? Well, here's how we do it, Cynthia. You go to ssa.gov, all righty? And you log in, create your account.
Okay.
And once you're in that, into that site, the page will have PIA, primary insurance amount.
Okay.
The first eligibility age is age 62. And I got a comment about that in just a minute.
Okay.
Full retirement age now, if you're born after 1954, in increments of 2 months each, 66 and 2 months, 66 and 4 months, all the way up to, age 67. Maximum age, eligibility age, is 70. Now, Cynthia, here's what can happen.
Okay.
We have relatives, friends, co-workers will tell us, I call them, quote, I put it in quotes, financial planners.
Okay.
Cynthia, you better get to the Social Security office,
Okay.
agency. And when you, Cynthia, you're so far away from 62, but that's the first eligibility age. Hurry up, get your Social Security because you may not live that long. Well, we don't know our date of death.
That's true. That is true.
You can't ask Freeman that. You can nowhere in the world. But the thing is, if you file too soon, you're liable to get only 30% of your Social Security benefit.
Wow, only 30%.
30%. It could be for anywhere between 25 to 30% less, I should say. Let me correct that error. Than what you would receive at full retirement age. Age 70, now from full retirement age 66 or 67, your Social Security benefit can increase 8% each year, up to 32% more than what you would receive at full retirement age. Okay, so you need a roadmap. You need a financial professional like myself that can guide you through.
Most definitely.
Have your detailed report. I'm going to mention this throughout our show. Detailed, written report, so that you even have the income gap. You could say, well, gee, I'm short $400 or $500 a month, or I need $1,000 a month. I'm glad we just asked Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233. And Cynthia, they can get their complementary consultation along with a detailed report that spells out how much money will I have when I retire. Where does Social Security play a role? Now that I'm a widow, where do I get my benefits from as far as Social Security? It's survivor benefits. We're going to talk some more about survivor benefits when the the widow or the widower received benefits from or was paid for by the deceased spouse when they were working.
Wow,
and there's
Freeman,
better solutions.
Hold that thought, because I would love to open the phone lines right now to allow people to call in, but I don't want to miss what you have to say. So what do you think about opening the phones and then coming back?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yay.
Okay.
To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen. That number is 833-414-7233. Any questions about how to retire comfortably, retire with confidence? Just ask Freeman. That's all you have to do. The number to call is 833-414-7233. We're going to take a very short commercial break. When we come back, Freeman's going to continue his point, so stay tuned.
You know, retirement planning can be stressful. We pride ourselves on being different from other financial planning firms. You know, and during your initial meeting, we will get to know you and you will get to know us. We want to learn all about your vision for retirement, and together we'll design a plan to achieve your long-term financial goals. Our friendly staff will make you feel comfortable. The moment you walk in that door, call us today for your complimentary review. You deserve the retirement of your dreams. Just ask Freeman. Call us at 1-833-414-7233.
And welcome back to Just Ask Freeman TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Freeman Owen Jr. Freeman, a wonderful show that we're having today.
Yes, we are.
Talking about such an important topic, planning for retirement.
I tell you.
But we're going to talk about right now when someone loses a spouse. Let's get back into that frame of mind for just a moment.
You know, there's solutions to making sure that you have enough income if there's a loss of a spouse. But, folks, you can avoid costly mistakes by purchasing a survivor benefit at work.
Wow.
Let me give you a good example. Cynthia, that's why folks say, just ask Freeman, all right? Let's say we purchased a survivor benefit, and it runs, you have to pay. Now, remember, folks, retirement is not free. So you purchase your survivor benefit at work. Let's say you want the working spouse is a six-figure income earner, is making $100K, and he wanted to make sure that the spouse received at least half, 50% of the income. That's $50K. But you paid maybe $400 or $500 per month for that survivor benefit. And let's multiply that by 12. Simple math.
Okay. 12
months times 500 is $6,000. Now, the working spouse who started this survivor benefit program, let's say he lives He's age 70, 75. Then the survivor benefit for that was set up lives, let's say, 10 years out and passes. 10 years times 6,000 is $60,000,
Yes.
which was a taxable event as well. If the widow had lived, or the widower had received these benefits, that would have been taxable. But can you see $60,000, which was not even used?
Wow.
I have a
Absolutely.
solution for that. A tax-free retirement program that would be part of your assessment to avoid the loss of income of the, or I should say, of the spouse who had set up the program. Never got the chance to use it. But there's a solution. Just ask Freeman. Call me at 833-414-7233. Get a tax-efficient report. Knowing the income gap, understand survivor benefits. When it comes to your Social Security, is it good to take the set up survivor benefits with the employer? Well, I just gave you a good example there that might not be too good of an idea, and there's a better alternative, and I call it tax-free retirement. Now, Cynthia, what do you get with that? Write it down, folks. Just ask Freeman. You're tax-free. I should say there's tax-free retirement. That's part of the plan. You'll see a written, spelled-out plan for the income gap when it comes to your income-producing assets, your 401ks, your IRAs, and I want to define the difference between tax-qualified and non-qualified assets that can be used. And I want to share with you, when we do the assessment, the series. Social Security, pension, if you are lucky. Let me just veer off 1 minute. Pension. There's only 7.2% of all the companies in the United States that offer a pension.
Let's talk about pensions on our next show, Freeman, because
Okay.
believe it or not, we are almost out of time.
It can't be.
I know.
Time.
Thank you so much, Freeman. To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is 833-414-7233. As you can clearly see, any questions you have about retirement, just ask Freeman. He has the answers for you. That number again is 833-414-7233. Thank you for watching. Be safe, be happy, be blessed, and we'll see you back 1 week from today.